Okay, so over here is my iPad screen, and then right here we are on my desktop as the teacher. So this is going to be kind of what the teacher sees. This is going to be what the student sees. So here is our code. I know it's different. I just went and picked the presentation that I had already finished just for the sake of time. I wasn't going to go through and finish editing the other one. So I'm going to use that code on my iPad. I'm going to click on the Nearpod app. And the nice thing about this is students don't have to have their own accounts. So it really cuts down on your time. So if I just had this code displayed, I would go ahead and type that in as the student, VGDIF, and join. And then it's going to ask me to enter my name or my nickname, and I'm just going to call myself Susie for this one and join the session. And then I'm stuck on this screen as the student until my teacher moves us forward to the next screen. So that way I'm kind of right with her and on the slide that I need to be on instead of getting distracted by something else. So on the teacher's side, I can see students that have joined my session. So there's Susie, and then I've actually joined as another student, John, on another iPad off screen, just so you can see what it looks like when multiple students are interacting with this Nearpod. So as you watch, as my teacher slide moves forward, you'll see the student slide move as well. So if I'm ready as the teacher and I click on the next one, it changes what my students see as well. So as we would kind of start discussing our graphing topic, we could go through and it's going to come to our first draw it activity. So as a student, I see this screen. I have my directions already on there, and then you'll see these tools that I have down here at the bottom. I can add text, I can add images, take a picture of something, I can highlight things, I can draw, that's my eraser, all of these different things. So the directions were to circle something that I noticed was different. So I'm going to pick red as my color, and I'm going to point out that, wow, these two down here happen to have a key and those don't. So I'm going to go ahead when I'm ready and I'm going to push submit as the student. And yes, I'm sure I want to submit that drawing. And over here, you'll see it shows the background image, and then I can see all of my students that are logged in. And now that Susie has submitted, I can see hers automatically. I can see a little preview of it here, or I can click on it and bring it up and see exactly what she drew or what she wrote. So for example, if I was John, I'll show you really quick, maybe the teacher would instantly know that he was confused if this was his answer. So it's waiting on his, and as soon as he submits his, we'll take a look at his. Oh, it's loading. Okay, and then as the teacher, I'm able to see, John is confused. He had no idea what to circle there. So once again, I'm getting instant data. I already know that maybe John is struggling with this concept. The other really cool thing that I love about this is maybe I want to share what Susie found. I can click this red share, and I want you to watch what happens on all of the student iPads. I'll push share, and Susie's response comes up. Here's the nice thing. I, as the teacher, know whose it is. The students do not. That is a feature that I can turn off if I'd like, but I tend to keep it anonymous. That way, students, feel very comfortable, and we're focused more about the actual material instead of whose was that or embarrassing anybody. I actually really like to share ones that had a misconception, and then we all work together and say, okay, this person almost had it. What do you think is missing? Or can anybody find the tiny mistake? Or what could that person do differently next time? And it doesn't point out Susie then, and Susie feels embarrassed. So that's a really awesome feature. So once again, I'm going to move forward. There's several more draw it features that I have throughout here. And then I finally gotten to the slide where I have a video, and it gives me the option, which I really like. It says, where would you like to play this video? Do I want to play it on this device only, meaning it would play up on the smart board on the computer so that we all watch it at once, or do I want it to play on each individual device where the kids would put on their headphones and they can kind of watch it on their own time? And then you can apply it in case you have other videos embedded that you can just make the decision once. I'm going to say on this device only, for the sake of time, we don't have to get out headphones and all of that. And then we could watch the video. You can see on here, it says the video is paused on this device. So my kids can't be messing with anything on their iPads. Their eyeballs should be on the board as we watch this together. And then I usually add a slide after this that says like one thing that you learned from the video. So that way it keeps them attentive. So it says, what is one thing you learned about bar graphs from the video? I can say there has to be a title. Okay, John's going to submit that. And then Susie might say, I learned that the bars shouldn't touch. Submit. Okay, once again, as the teacher, I can see their answers show up on here. And this is really nice. I can tell when everybody's done. Sometimes I know you just have to move on, or I'm able at least to give a countdown to know that everybody's with me. Like, okay, if I've got 90%, I might say, okay, guys, let's wrap up your answers. I'm going to give you, 15 more seconds to try to finish up your answer. So this keeps me on a better pacing as well to know if it says only 20% of my students are finished, I know that they need more time. So once again, I can see all of their answers here. And if I want to say, oh, wow, look, this person brought up a really good point, I can share it. And it's now on everybody's iPad. Then maybe I want to talk about the one that Susie brought up. And I might say, oh, this person had a really good point too, that the bars shouldn't touch in our bar graph. So on and so on. Okay. And then this one, once again, has a draw it. Hang on. It's going to load. There we go. Where I would circle maybe the titles of the graphs in blue, underline them in green, and I can use the color pen down here as well. I'm just going to kind of flip forward really quick. I want to get to some of these multiple choice ones where I ask them to show their work. So for example, this one, when I'm asking how many people did we survey, maybe their work would look like this. Since all of the cookies were, each of the symbols were worth 2 cookies, maybe they could skip count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Maybe they'll write beside each one 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. And then maybe Susie makes a careless mistake and she says these are worth 10. And then maybe I'll just say 10 plus 8, and I'll say my answer is 18. And I don't see 18 on here, so I'm just going to circle 10 because that seems pretty close to my answer, and I'm going to submit. So now, as the teacher, I can see the misconception that Susie had. I can see that she went about the process of figuring out that each of the symbols was worth 2 cookies and that she knew how many were in each one, and that her error was just from a simple addition error. So I've automatically got a little bit of an inside look at how she got the answer that she got. Once again, if I wanted to share this out to everybody, I'm doing it anonymously, but I could talk about that misconception and see if the students could help find the mistake, or how could this person be more careful next time. Okay. And then if I wanted to collect some data through a poll, I could have students answering a question about what color eyes they have. I could share out the results of that. They can be making a pictograph, a bar graph. They could just use their pen to draw. Maybe they had however many of each color. We're just going to kind of make it up here from our data that we gathered as a class. And once again, I could submit that. Okay, I'm going to kind of fast forward here to the self-evaluation part. This is really nice, like I said, because this used to be a whole separate piece of my lessons, but I can build it in, and there's no more wasted time now grading those exit tickets really quickly to figure out what to do tomorrow. I can see it right away. So let's say maybe Susie says, I get it. And maybe John says, you know what, I really don't get this, help. I don't understand. So now when we submit, I can see exactly who feels which way about it, but I can also get a really good glance at all of them and say, oh, wow, it looks like a lot of people circled 3 that I get it. Or, oh gosh, a lot of people don't get this. I need to reevaluate what my lesson plans are for tomorrow. So that's just kind of an overlook of just a few of the features in Nearpod. It's really great for beginners because, like I said, you can use the pre-made lessons in the store. You can take presentations that you already have made in the past and just make them more engaging with Nearpod, or you can start from scratch and build your own Nearpod lessons. But I really think it's going to transform the way that you deliver instruction.